Hi, I am online Skype tutor Engr.Muhammad Rizwan. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video we show that limit of sin of x is equal to 0 as x approaches to 0. First of all, we should know that domain of sin of x is equal to set of all real numbers. We can put all real numbers in sine function. As a result, we get the value of sine of x which will be from -1 to 1. So it is the range of sine of x which is -1 to 1. We can write the range in this form: -1 less than equal to sine of x less than equal to 1. As our limit is x approaches to 0, which means that x is not equal to 0, or x may be greater than 0, or x may be less than 0. We will approach to 0 from right side. In this case, x will be greater than 0. Its value may be 0.01, 0.001, 0.1. We may approach to 0 from left hand side. Uh, in this case, its value will be 0.01 minus 0.1. First, we take positive real numbers. If x greater than 0, we find the relationship between absolute value of sine of x and x. Here both are positive. Due to absolute value, this will become positive and this is also positive. We take some positive values and on the basis of their results we conclude the relationship between them for all positive real numbers. We take first positive number pi, which is equal to 3.14. We put sine pi and its value is 0, and we take the absolute value of 0, which will also be equal to 0. In this case, sine pi is equal to pi. There is equal relation. Now we take other positive number 1. Sine 1 is equal to 0.8415. We take its absolute value, which is 0.8415. In this case, our sine 1 is less than 1. So we take sine 10. In this case, we get 0.0544, 0.544, and which is also less than 10. Here relationship is less than. So on the basis of some sample points, we can conclude for all positive real numbers absolute value of sine of x is always less than equal to x for all x greater than 0. This is positive and this is positive, and relationship between is less than and equal to. We can also write it in simultaneous inequality. But as we know that absolute value of x less than equal to d and d is any real number, then we can also write it minus d less than equal to x, x less than equal to d. So we can write this inequality in this form. We apply limit x approaches to 0. This positive sign shows that we are taking right hand limit. We are approaching to 0 from right hand side. We are taking a value which may be 0.01, 0.001. Now we are approaching to 0 from right hand side because we are taking positive real numbers x greater than 0. So in this case we can approach from right hand side. We apply this limit to the inequality. Here we apply, this is a smaller function, this is middle function, this is greater function. Now we find the limit of smaller function which is equal to 0, and now we take the limit of greater function which is also equal to 0. So limit of smaller function is equal to limit of greater function. So we know that by squeeze theorem, if the limit of smaller function and limit of greater function becomes equal, then we can say that limit of middle function sine of x is equal to 0. So in this case we have calculated the right hand limit. Now we are taking negative real numbers. Negative real numbers are the numbers that are less than 0. We find relationship between sine of x, this is a positive quantity, and as we are taking negative real numbers, so we multiply minus 2 negative number. In this case we get positive real numbers. We put some negative number minus 20, and we know that sine minus theta is equal to minus sine theta. So this minus will move here, and in this case we have written minus here. So we find the sine 20 which is equal to 0.9129, minus will remain here. So we know that absolute value of positive number and absolute value of negative number is always positive, because absolute value is the distance from 0, and distance is always positive. As we are finding the relationship between minus x, and we have taken minus 20 which is x, and we multiply minus 20 to minus, and in this case we get 20 which is minus x, and this is sine, this is our sine, absolute value of sine. Now in this case relationship between absolute value of sine of x and x is less, there is less than relationship. So we take minus 70 and we move this minus here, and we take its absolute value, because we calculate the absolute value of minus number which is always positive, because absolute value is distance from 0. We minus 70 is our x, because we are finding the relationship between minus x, so we multiply minus 70 to minus, we want to make it positive. In this case sine of x is also less than 70. So there is less than relationship. So we take minus pi. Minus pi is a negative number. 3.14 is equal to minus pi. So in this case, we also get 0, as sine pi is equal to 0. 0 multiplied by minus, it will also be equal to 0. So absolute value of 0 is equal to 0. We take minus x will be pi. So in this case there is equal relationship between sine of x and x is uh, sine of x will become equal to x. So we conclude that sine of x always less than equal to minus x for all x less than 0. If we take negative real numbers, then our absolute value of sine of x will always be less than and equal to minus x. As it is a positive and x is negative, then we multiply minus 2x. In this case it will also become positive. So we can write it as, by using this formula we can write the above inequality in simultaneous inequality as minus will be multiplied to minus. In this case we will get x less than equal to sine of x less than equal to minus x. Now we apply limit as x approaches to 0. Here this minus shows that we are taking left hand limit. Uh, as our now in this case we are taking negative real numbers, so we can approach to 0 from left hand side. Value of x approaches to value of x may be 0. 0 minus 0.01 minus 0.001. We approach to x from left hand side. Now we are taking left hand limit. We apply left hand limit. We find the left hand limit of smaller function, middle function, and we find we raise it, because here is we also put minus. I put minus here. This is smaller function, and this is our middle function, and this is our greater function. We find the limit of smaller function and we find the limit of greater function. Limit of smaller and limit of greater function both are equal to 0. By squeeze theorem we can write limit of middle function is equal to 0. So in this case, as we approach 0 to 0 from left hand side, then in this case we have calculated the left hand limit of function, which is equal to 0. Our left hand limit is equal to right hand limit. When left hand limit becomes equal to right hand limit, in this case we can say that limit exists. So limit x approaches to 0, sin of x exists and its value will also be equal to the limit to the value of left hand limit or right hand limit. So this is our result. Thanks for watching my video. If you have any confusion, you can contact me on my Facebook page. You can call me on my Skype. You can also message me on my WhatsApp. Please subscribe my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching and listening my video.